build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers. This is episode 115. I'm Matty. Got Colin on tonight. Colin, how's it going?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Aye, I'm all right. I just realised before we started, we talked for 10 minutes about dogs, but I didn't think I asked you how you were doing anyway. So, what's been happening?
Right. Back to work this week. Back to work today. So, I was off last week. Back to work today. So, tired right now. After a long day, catching up on fucking hundreds of emails.
That's what happens,
so, Aye. But I managed to squeeze the game in. I never saw the game live yesterday. So, I've watched Hibs TV, my lunch break, and then on my exercise bike. So, real benefit of that getting Hibs TV through your season ticket after all my fucking moaning.
It's one of these things, like, I don't think I've ever watched a 0-0 back before, even like Kim, it's been at the Alba game, and you come home. I think we maybe played once St Johnstone at home. I think I was late to the game. Hanlon, I think, hit the crossbar early doors, which was like the highlight of the game. The rest of the game was fucking shite. And I think that one was on Alba. And even though I'd missed some of the game, I still wasn't tempted to watch it again. It was just like, fuck that. I'll watch it if we win. Don't I watch it if we get beat? Unless there's something contentious in it that I want to see that incident.
Well, I only watched it because otherwise, I mean, you pay me a lot of money to do this, and if I'm not up to date with the game, Ken, how could I even comment on it?
Aye,
I'm thinking, so I forced myself to sit through it.
And hangover, all right after celebrating the draw.
Aye, what party time it was.
Had the flags out and everything.
I know.
Fucking idiots.
That's the thing, though, right? Because I've seen the comment. We're going to start with these comments.
Well, hold on a wee second, because I've got just for folk, we've got the wee clip of Robbie Nielsen, his interview. So hopefully this works. So it's very technical. So that was him, who was saying that the difference in mentality that
makes a lot of sense when he's talking.
Him celebrated and they were disappointed, so their mentality is obviously better.
Aye.
What do you think of that?
I think the guy's just massively under pressure and trying to get the fans back on side. And the number one way for a Hearts fan, player, manager, whatever, chairman, to get their fans on side is to say something to derogatory about Hibs. They've all done it. Budge does it in their statements. Fireworks Phil, we spoke about last week or the week before. They all do it. They've all done it since the Romanov days. That's how they get the fans on their side, and that's what he's done. Just made an arse of himself, because, as I've just said, I never watched the game live, but when I put Sky Sports News on no long after the game finished, I saw Nisbin that doing on his haunches, like thinking, fuck's sake, should have won that. I never saw anybody celebrating at the away end. So there was more like, I assume, for what I've read as well, it's that the players just went to the away end and clapped them off, clapped the fans as they went off. But I'm not sure where the celebration comes from. I mean, Nielsen's been at Hearts long enough to remember celebrating his a draw at Easter Road. So I'm not sure what his game is there, other than that he's under massive pressure and he's trying to get them on side.
I kind of think of a team anywhere that celebrated a draw as much as Hearts celebrate draws in this particular fixture against us. You think over the years, I mean, taking the piss out of Stevie Fail, where he did, I can't remember what draw it was, but they did just about a fucking lap of honour for it.
I think when the boy Tay punted it in the championship as well. That was a draw. And they were celebrating that like they'd won the league. They're known for it. Like,
yeah. The other thing, Mindy was happy to get the money spinning replay as well. He's famous for that. He was chuffed to fucking bits. And then the other bit, I don't know if it captured it when we played the audio back there, but he mentioned about them being second. So at least we're still second.
Oh, that's right. I did say that you'd done that.
Behind Rangers.
Aye, because they're chasing. Because he actually said as well that we said we wanted to chase first and second because if we can beat them, then we didn't need to worry about everybody else. Like, no, you do, mate. Because if you beat Rangers and Celtic, you'll only get fucking 24 points.
Aye.
And that's it. You get relegated again, or demoted, or fucking whatever you want to call it. But I mean, that's the absolute fucking drivel. And first place all last week they were, and then second place now. And you're like, "No, look at the league, mate. You're third. You're third.
Aye.
Goal difference. How they don't acknowledge goal difference after what happened to them? It's
I know.
how do they not understand it yet? But
And you would think, Ken, if you were even to go to the hypothetical, could the league end early? Where would you finish? I think they would care about that as well. Eh?
it's not only morally, legally as well. We're above them.
Morally, legally,
Aye.
actual, factually. All right, we'll move on a bit. Talk about the game. What did you think of it?
I actually thought it was quite a good game. So I'm not sure I would have said this if I'd watched the game live, right? Because you're invested in it and you're shiting your cell or you're shouting at somebody for no doing something. But watching it, knowing the score, it was actually a good game. I thought both teams, without trying to give them any credit, they were actually trying to play football as well. Kind of, we've always got this thing, they just hoof it all the time, and that it wasn't like that yesterday. They were actually trying to appear to try and play some football as well as us. I thought it was a good game to watch, and both teams had chances, but a draw was probably fair. In the end, you always remember your own chances more than theirs, but I think a draw was probably fair. Watching it in the cold light of day.
I think we'll talk about the goalkeepers first, because I think they were probably the standout performers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
For you, Gordon or Macy, who do you think had the better afternoon?
I think they probably made about the same amount of saves. I think Macy's was maybe a bit more. I think Macy's saves are probably a bit better, but it was semantics, isn't it? They were both good saves. It was both the goalies were the best players in the park, probably. I do think Macy's getting. I like Macy. I've defended him in that, and I think that save he made for Mackay Stevens is getting all the how good a save it was in that. I would have been disappointed if he'd let that in, because it was doing low in that. But I thought it was a good save. I actually thought his save for the handling deflection was better.
I thought that was going over anyway.
I think it was dipping in.
I think so. I watched that a few times. I couldn't make my mind up. He definitely he couldn't take the chance. Well, you saw Gordon took the chance when Newell's crossed, and I ended up scudding the.
That one actually. There's one angle that Hibs TV showed. I assume it's the Sky coverage, so I don't know if it was on Sky Sports as well. But there's one angle that it looks like Newell's looked up, because everybody's assuming they didn't mean it, and there was one angle I thought, did he mean it? But I'm not sure if he did. But because it would be a strange attempt to have made. But there's one angle that he kind of looks and you think, he tried to float that in at the back corner, the back post. But it would have been some goal if it went in. We would have been claiming it was meant. Imagine fucking Nielsen if that went in. Fucking hell. But I mean, Craig Gordon's a hard guy to beat. But it always feels like, and it could be because he's a good goalie, but it always feels like he never has to stretch very far for a save. And it could be his positioning's that good, but it never feels like everybody's putting him in the corners.
I think you're right. I think the standout save for Gordon was from Boyle's shot to the edge of the box. That actually he had the two for Boyle, one going to his left and then one going to the right. But the one to his right low that we never got the corner for.
Aye,
that was a really good save. But I thought Macy's save from Mackay Stephen was. See when he got that ball, I was like, "Oh, fuck off!" Because you're going, it's a goal all the way, and it's not like Mackay Stephen didn't catch it well enough. It's just
no, he caught it. He hit it really hard, but I just think and it was a good save. I don't know what I was expecting, because I'd seen messages coming into group chats and that about how great a save it was, and then I saw it and I thought, oh, it was a good save, but I wasn't going, oh yeah, fuck it. Like he's tipped it away, it's gone in the top corner, and I thought, well, if he had let that in, he's not done his job very well. Because I thought
I think so. It's one of these ones that keepers didn't save though, because it was so low and it was quite. It was close enough for him to be difficult to get it with his hands. Do you know, like sometimes the ball goes sort of in between the arm and the body with the keeper when they try to get doing it like that, and it's not like he's a wee guy to get done.
No, I know. I take all that into account, and as I say, I've been defending the boy since he this is a game here against a lot of folk that have doubts about him, despite him not having made a mistake and all that. But just thought that his save for Hanlon's deflection was actually a better save for the reaction, and
it was point blank as well, wasn't it? Really, because Hanlon really should have scored there. Came for that distance.
I made the meal it.
If you're going to do it, I actually thought Hanlon was brilliant through the game. Kind that moment aside, which would have been awfully unlucky for him, I thought he had an outstanding match.
I don't know why folk give him a hard time. We're a better team when he plays. I think it's been proven over since even the year we got relegated. Like, we missed them for about February or January or something, and that was when we never won another game.
Yeah.
When we only needed to win one game. I think when he's not playing, we're a worse team.
100%. We saw Chris Cadden come back. How do you think he got on?
I was amazed that he managed to last 88 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
I thought he was good. I like him. I liked him last season. To come back in half fit as he must be, or certainly no match fit, and play that long, and that sort of impact he was having in the game as well. He was putting tackles and he was up and down that line. It was good. He was really good. What I didn't like was Scott in the number 10. Like, I was listening to Sports Scene there. Like, Marvin Bartley tried to explain what we've done. Right, I didn't care if I quite understand that, but he was talking about overloads in midfield and all that. But basically, we've matched up with Hearts formation rather than playing our own formation, and that's how we've ended up with Scott in the hole. And then that meant McGuinness was deeper, and it meant Boyle's up front, and I think too much movement there. Like, Boyle, when he's not out wide, I don't think he's the same player. I know folk disagree with that. I just think he's the same player when he's not out on the right. Then you've got Scott and Tenrell when McGuinness has been there all season doing the job. You know what I mean? I think a direct more replacement would have been maybe just Cadden into midfield for Doyle Hayes. That would have been the one. Drop. I don't know. Neil was already in for Doyle Hayes. I'm trying to think what the formation would have been, but changing it to that sort of what we've done, I don't think it didn't work, and it obviously didn't work because he changed it at half time.
Yeah. There was a bit of criticism online for the change at half time. We'll probably come on to it eventually with the talking points, but Gogic coming on, there was folk kind of crying out for Scott Allen. Where do you stand on that sub?
Aye, Gogic done well when he came on. Gogic played well, I thought. I guess that was the thinking. I haven't heard Jack Ross's interview, so I don't know what he said if he's been asked, but I assume the thinking was they were starting to come in the midfield. They were starting to pick up a lot of loose balls in the midfield and coming into the game a bit, and he thought put Gogic on to shore that up a bit, to win some of the balls back, rather than Allen, who probably wouldn't do that. It would be even worse, likely, or certainly not any better.
Yeah. Aye.
Yeah. And I know he could find, if he can pick a pass and all that would make the goal, but we were still creating chances. It wasn't like there was no chances. And we needed somebody to pick a hole. We were picking holes just fine. We just weren't winning the midfield.
So it was had Cadden. You mentioned Scott as well in the number 10 role. I think we found out where his best position is yet.
Well, I thought his first game he was all right. Who's that? Who was his first game? Was that Ross County? No, wasn't he? Was it? What was his first game? Wherever he played in his first game, I think he was more up front, wasn't he?
Dundee away.
Oh, Dundee, aye. I thought he'd done all right up there when he was up front on his own. Because in other games he's played out in the sort of left at a 3 and then now in the number 10. I think his best place. Because Nisbet's probably even better in the 10 role than Scott. Even if you were thinking that, if you were doing that formation, Nisbet's has been quite effective dropping into these sort of pockets and all that. So I think up front is probably his best position. Having said that, he's never scored any goals, but he nearly scored in Dundee. But he's not had any chances in the other games when he's been elsewhere. So maybe up front, it's hard to say. 3-4 games he's played. 3 games.
Aye,
too early to say.
Probably is. I think he's not played a lot of football up until now, so he's probably still kind of getting back at that sharpness. So look at the chances we had. We had Nisbet had one in the first half. A kind of cross came in from Cadden. They snatched it. He had another couple of chances. Nisbet, the one that would have been a fucking world class goal was the volley.
Kind
of, he was spinning and
he swiveled. Aye. That was a good effort.
We had
Right at
them,
the end as well.
aye, it would have won it.
Scored there that in 80 odd minutes. And it was quite late on. So
Boyle had a couple of chances. McGuinness had a couple of chances. McGuinness probably had, I think, the two best chances in the game. The one where he intercepted the pass for Soapy Suter. I think he was short with a pass across the back line, and McGuinness read it well. He's actually, there's an angle where you can see him clocking what's going to happen, and he just gets on his bike to intercept it. I think he probably should have scored there.
can't remember that one.
Gordon saves it, but he hits it quite close to Gordon. It's quite a straightforward save. And then another one was when the Boyle, I think, cut back to him. Maybe Nisbet cut it back. And
it was Nisbet.
He kind of hit it into the ground first, and again Gordon it was saved
a decent save. I thought he played well yesterday, McGuinness. I just think he can play the deeper role, but I think he's just better when he's up a bit further up the park. That one, and I can't remember the first one. The second one, it was a good effort. Speaking to my brother-in-law, he thought he was at the game and he thought he should have maybe squared it to Boyle, but I'm not sure. Like watching the TV, it looks like there's boys round Boyle, and I thought if McGuinness had squared that to Boyle, we would have been fucking shouting at him like, "What are you doing?" Because the chances of it coming off, but because Boyle is unmarked for a sort of nanosecond, I think. When the ball's coming to McGuinness, I think he's got to shoot for there.
Boyle looks more unmarked after the event, if that makes sense. Like when the ball was coming, Gordon saved it, and the players have moved a wee bit. The ball looks like he's got more space than he actually does when McGuinness is ready to take the shot. Because I thought that as well. I was like, fuck hell, he probably should have squared it. And then I watched it again. I was like, nah, probably same as you. No complaints for the shot.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're at the game and you glance over and you see him there, you're like, why have you not squared it to him? But I think when you see it on the TV, I think it would have been the wrong option to have done it. And sometimes kick, I'm assuming they never meant to kick it in at the ground, but sometimes that they always say, "Oh, he's hit it too good." You know what I mean? So it was just unfortunate. It wasn't in the corner. That's the thing, and Gordon's got to save it because unless you get them in the corner, they didn't go in.
Aye, sometimes they loop right up as well. Those ones can go in if you hit it down. Lost my train of thought there. McGuinness, actually wrote just to talk about his performance, but McGuinness and Newell in particular, I thought Newell was really good. I saw some criticism about his final ball, but I actually didn't think it was too bad. Maybe tried a couple of things that didn't come off in the game, but I didn't really mind that. But I thought Newell was superb, considering it was his first game back after injury as well.
I thought Newell was really good. I like Joe Newell, but I don't think he performs well often enough.
Yeah.
But he did yesterday. I thought he was good. I just wish he was more consistent with it.
I would agree with that.
Because he does. I think I said to probably you guys before the game yesterday that if Doyle, Hayes and McGuinness weren't playing, I was a bit worried because I thought Newell doesn't turn up enough to guarantee. You know what I mean? You're a bit more reliant on, Boyle will turn up, McGuinness will turn up, Ken Hanlon and Porteous are going to turn up. Newell's like, it depends on what the weather's like or whatever it is that's going on in his seat or what comes off for him maybe early doors. It gives him a bit of boost of confidence because he's really good sort of close touch stuff, but he doesn't get a lot of final balls very often, ever. A lot of his good plays keeping the ball in midfield and keeping the play moving and not like a killer ball. I don't think that's what he's really known for over the last couple of seasons.
No, I don't think so. I think his stats would back up. He's no one for assists and definitely no for goals.
He's scored many goals. I think he's scored any, is
he? He has scored against St Mirren at St Mirren. Right. I thought the thing with having Chonyo in the team is he kept his composure to still try and play football, which doesn't always happen in a derby. And can you said earlier on about no one to give Hearts credit, and I'm very much of that opinion as well. But I thought we see the foul count. I'm sure that if you looked at the foul count for the game on Sunday and compared it to derbies under Levine, Hearts would probably have about half the fouls than they normally do. And I thought they tried to play football. Their number 6 was good, but I thought equally we got the ball down, and when we passed the ball, we looked pretty good.
See, I agree, and I thought they were trying to play football. The number 6, I think he got man of the match on the telly. Benny,
Aye.
this is the boy Benny they're all raving about.
Yeah.
So I watched it, like knowing that they got man of the match and all that, and I thought he was all right. He was decent. But he's one of the players I think that they've obviously they're totally sold on him, because
Aye.
you notice there was a couple of times he just picked the ball up midfield and passed it back to Suter or whatever, and it was getting the big fucking Scott Allen Lapiana thing,
Totally
and
noticed
you
that
he's
as
just
well.
knocked it back 10 yards.
Aye.
But he put a couple of tackles in, but Boyle absolutely burnt him for one of his chances, didn't he?
Aye. The one at
Um,
the end of the half left him
Aye,
on his arse.
and there was another one. Somebody knocked the ball down the line, and McGuinness just ran past him as if he wasn't there. And I'm watching that bias, knowing he got man of the match, looking for reasons why he isn't as good. Like, don't get me
Aye.
wrong, but I noticed there was a couple of them there that he's no. He knocked a couple of balls about in midfield, sideways and backwards, won a couple of tackles, and got burnt twice for pace by McGuinness and Boyle.
Right. Hibs, under Jack Ross, we've talked about it here, right? Gets a hard time for no winning the big games. This is definitely a big game. He's no won it. Do you think there's criticism for no winning it, or do you think Hibs' performance was good enough that you would say that's a tick in his favour for how we did?
Well, so I disagree with the big game thing anyway. Like, I mean, he has won big games because he won there the last time we played them as well. But and I think those stats get skewed, like the big game stats, because folk bring Rangers and Celtic into it as if we're expected to beat Rangers and Celtic every time we play them. He's got a 40% win rate in big games. You're like, that's fucking 60% of the games were against Rangers and Celtic.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And it feels a bit unfair when they fire these stats about. I don't think going to Tynecastle against a team, I think they were top of the league. I heard that during the week, and they're the team top of the league, and we went there and got a draw. That's surely not bad. And we gave a performance that could have won the game. I'm not saying we should have won it, but we could have won it. It's not that we're hanging on and defending for our lives. We did try and play. A bit disappointed we played their formation, their game, rather than our own game, and that's where Lennon and that failed. I think he just sort of lined everybody up, didn't he? I mean, who's the 10 biggest? I'll pick the 10 for the derby at Tynecastle. That was kind of his mentality going into the derby. We still tried to play football there, despite the formation change. And I think it's a bit harsh to say, well, he never won it, so that's another big game he's not won. It's another big game he's not lost.
Yeah, that's true. I thought so going into this game, the first time for a wee while, I've not really been that confident going into a derby. And I didn't care if it's just because of all the noise that they were making, because they definitely thought they were going to win. Like every Hearts fan I know that was talking about it was looking forward to scudding us. The boy for the foundation of Hearts was talking about how he expected to win. It wasn't like, oh, I hope we'll win, or anything. He says we expect to win. Ken, you had Levine talking about it on the radio and everything. I reckon if I just got in my head a wee bit, and I was like, especially with the rumours that Doyle Hayes and McGuinness might not make it, Boyle might not make it. We obviously know got Doidge. We weren't sure if Newell was going to be back for it. Just like, I think what team we'll have. But you saw the team. Jack Ross obviously had to shuffle it a wee bit to kind of accommodate folk, bring Cadden back in. I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves, and we're unlucky not to win it. I think draw is about right, but if we'd won it, I think Hearts could have complained. At the same time, same if they'd won it, we wouldn't really had that many complaints about it tonight. But
I didn't understand. They've just done there what we fell into this trap before, going into a derby and saying how many we're going to win by.
Aye.
And I don't know why both sides do it to themselves. Like,
stupid, isn't it? It's stupid.
It's the same, like, even folks saying, I've read it a few times, just on the message boards and that. If they never had Craig Gordon, they'd be relegation fodder. And you think, I'm not sure, like. I'm not sure. I think they're not a bad side. They'll be top 6, like. They'll definitely be top 6. I'm pretty confident in that.
They've had they're a side, if they start the season well, they're a sort of time. If they start the season well, they have a good season. It's not like us, Ken. We well, no under Jack Ross right enough, but how many times we've started the season well, and it gets to winter, and the arse falls out of the season, and pick up again when it gets to the weather starts getting better.
And it was important not to let them win that derby, because that's my father always said. I said the first derby of the season, you need to win the first derby of the season because it lays the marker down for the year and all that. And if they win that first derby of the season, they get a real boost at it, and I'm sure we do as well. But it feels like the first derby of the season is always at Tynecastle as well. I know it's no,
Aye.
but often. So I mean, I don't think Jack Ross can be criticised for no winning it.
Nah, I was
The
quite happy
record
with
at Tynecastle's no good enough to say they expect to go there and win, especially when they're having a good spell. You know what I mean? It's not like they're bottom of the league and we're going like we did at the Boxing Day one.
Yeah.
We were bottom of the league as well. We were both down the bottom, I suppose, but they were further down the bottom. And whereas this one, like we're both doing well. It's no. I don't think it draws a bad result. I think you can criticise the guy anymore for that.
He called out a stat, Jack Ross, after the game. This is 43 games in a row with not been outside the top 4, which I think is remarkable. Like, I think, so Hibs, how long have we had a reputation for being consistent? Can be one season wonders, or can you win, beat Celtic and then lose to fucking Ross County or whatever?
Yeah.
43 games in the top 4, so we weren't outside the top 4 the whole of last season, which is good. Obviously, we finished third. There was a thread on Hibs.net, and somebody was saying that it's only 5 games. Folks shouldn't be getting carried away about Jack Ross. And you look back at that stat and you say, well, it's not just 5 games, it's 43 games since he's been in the top 4, plus the latter stages of the Cups. You've got to fucking say he's doing a good job now.
Plus he came in when we were 10th, 10th place, and he took us, well, he nearly took us to the top 6, but I mean, we lost it in the points average, but we didn't want about the things. We just get on with it.
Just dealt with it.
We got demoted into the bottom 6 that season.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, since he's came in, he's not beat Rangers and Celtic yet.
No.
I think that's the biggest complaint. He's not beat Rangers or Celtic. Had a few draws, obviously, but not beat any of them yet. But he's beat all the other big teams.
I think we'll beat them this season. I think the squad we've got now, the team we've got, is as good as we've had probably since the McGinn, McGee, O'Callaghan midfield.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a better mentality about us now. We just think the teams we spoke about in the podcast before last season that we hit a consistent level. So even going to Tynecastle, which is a fixture we normally didn't play football. You know, we get caught up in the kick and rush and fucking hammer everything that moves. But we didn't. We stuck to how we want to play football normally. Even when we went to the count, like we sat in a wee bit and counter-attacked them for a spell in the second half. Don't know whether we were deliberately going as deep as we were, or the Hearts were just quite good in that spell. But we looked dangerous going forward, and we looked like we could have scored every time we went forward at one point, if it wasn't for their goalkeeper.
And you can't question the mentality for that point of view. There was plenty of tackles gone, and we've done it before with new leaders in that team. Nobody was up for it. They're always more up for it than us. I mean, there was plenty of tackles in that gone in yesterday. Newell, McGuinness, Porteous, they were firing their selling big 50-50s and that.
Aye.
So there was no question that they weren't up for it, and all the kind of questions, as well as still trying to play. Because I've just remembered that there was a bit of play before one of Boyle's attempts. I think Porteous picked up at the back, played it into Nisbet in the middle of the park. He nutmegged the man of the match, and then played it to Boyle, and that's when Boyle got that shot away that Gordon saved, I think.
Yeah.
But one of the one that we never got a corner for. I think it was that one.
Yeah, I think it was.
That was a cracking bit of football. And there were some other buds. The one you mentioned when Cadden down the wing and swung it in. Some good, really good play that normally we didn't try and play football, and then we go, oh, that pitch is too wee and all that other shit excuses we come out with about going there. You can still play football.
Aye.
On that pitch. And I think we showed that, and hopefully that's what we try and do now, rather than go and say, oh, let's just fucking batter them, because they'll probably win that.
Battle them as well. Right, we'll go get some talking points from Twitter. So first one comes from Ron Burgundy, who said Gogic over Allen is for me a nonsense. So I suppose we could have talked about that already. You could make an argument for Scott Allen coming on, but I think personally I was quite happy with seeing knowing the game that Gogic had retrospectively, with hindsight, etc. I think he did a good job. I think it was probably the right move. And it did show up in midfield.
It did. Do you know there's more of an argument that Alan could have started ahead of Scott in the first place? Not that they should have made the sub to bring Alan on at half time. He should have been going, why did Scott start ahead of Alan in that role? That would have been a better argument to make for if you want Alan in the team.
LG and Cow 456 said, where would we actually be without Matt Macy? Not even taking the piss, he's been outstanding. Aye.
Top of the league. Second, third favourite in the league.
Aye. We're just below Hearts. I think with Macy's, obviously it's hard act to follow with Marciano because he was such a good goalkeeper. But I think Macy's, the saves that Macy made on Sunday were the saves that we saw Marciano make. That everybody would go, what a keeper. Ian McPhail said, has anyone ever had a chant about them that referenced their height before? And I'll not sing it, but it's to the tune of Wonderwall. I said, Macy, you're going to be the one that saves me. And after all, you're 6'7" tall.
Well, they singing that yesterday, they weren't.
I don't care if they were, but I fucking hope that catches on. Daniel said they were running riot in the middle of the park for ages. They've been Hearts. Gogic came in and did his job, but besides winning the ball, he offers nothing going forward. Not like we had any choice given how the first half went. Alan should have been on sharper.
Apart from the 2 shots he had.
Aye, well, that's what I was going to say. Like, Gogic actually had 2 attempts himself on goal, but he also was involved in, I think, a shot that McGuinness had, possibly the one that Nisbet hooked over. I mean, so.
Aye, it did feel like he was further forward than he was last year. You know, last year he was kind of sat a lot deeper. He scored 1 goal, didn't he? But I know Fokker wanting Scott Allen in the team. Simple as that, aren't they? Now.
Aye. Well, that's actually one for Rochelle Stewardson who asked why no Scott Allen. So again, probably covered that. Gogic got away with a handball as well. I liked it when that happened because the Hearts fans were fucking mental. It was the right decision because the ball just bounced up and hit him. You know, it wasn't like he tried to catch it or fuck all. But I like the fact that they were raging. The referee, I thought, had a no bad game. I can't believe I'm saying it.
Aye, no, he was fine.
The Hearts fans, there was a boy on Twitter saying that McGinn, you know, the incident when we got the foul, when Boyce fouled McGinn, when he was trying to get past him and go through and goal. The boy was claiming.
And then he brought him down.
Boy was claiming should have been a red card for presumably for McGinn.
I think Rob McLean said it on Sports Scene in the highlight in the commentary when he was commentating live. He thought McGinn had brought him down, not realising that as soon as the defender gets touched on the back, it's a foul.
Aye,
because we're playing the Presley plunge rules, aren't we? And they created it, so we're just playing them in the end game. Because Port just done it earlier on as well. He nearly got caught once with it. But he did get caught once with it actually. Once he got the first time he was on the right hand side and he fell down. And they were moaning about it. And then the second time he was looking to fall down and actually, I think Mackay Stephen didn't touch him.
He just stopped to let him run past.
Aye, because he was looking for him as if to say, right, well, run into me then so I can fall down.
Aye.
And that's what happened there. Boyce just put his hand on his back and he pushed him. It's enough for a defender to fall down nowadays. But then McGinn, because he's fallen, he's not deliberately tripped him up. But
it's definitely not a red card anyway. So it wasn't a violent play by Boyce. So although the Hearts fan was saying it was a definite red card, I think he's been harsh on his own player there. Wee tit. Junior said, if Macy sorts out his distribution, will he be the best goalkeeper in the world? Because the shot stopping is phenomenal.
The distribution keeps coming up, and it's like, I think he kicked out once yesterday.
I thought his kicking was good yesterday.
Aye, and it's like we need to find something to moan about. Like, just let the boy. You know, it's like Fokker, even if you look at the message boards about him a few weeks ago, I kind of all went quiet, obviously, about the criticism of him, but it was like, there's just something about him, I'm not sure what it is.
Aye, something about
it's
him.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, you just wait, so you think he's going to make a mistake at some time in the future, and you just want to be able to say, see, tell you.
Aye, knew it.
Whereas now it's like, we're moaning about his distribution. His distribution is certainly no worse than Marciano's, but probably better. Because Marciano kicked it numerous times at the park.
I think if you look at every goalkeeper, there's question marks over the distribution, because if they're not rolling it out, which is the easy pass game, which a lot of teams do play for the back, like we normally do.
Yeah.
if they're not doing that, they're going long, and a long ball is difficult. Otherwise,
Aye.
football do it all the time. Do you know, to get them accurate, they're normally going for a striker who's going to win a header against the centre half, or
It's just
going
kind of
wide
aiming
to
in
the
an
touchline.
area. You're aiming
Aye.
in an area, aren't you? You're not. Aye. And when you're going to the touchline, it's got to be the right. It's got to dip at the right height for somebody to header it, or it's going out.
Aye.
No, it's like I just think it's a bit over analysed. Like he's it's not like he's kicking it out every time he gets it. He threw a few yesterday that were good. It's like he kicked it out once. I might be wrong. I can remember once.
Aye. I wasn't
think
counting.
it's-
I thought he was all right with his distribution. I think he's a good goalkeeper, all in. I just think we've done well to replace Marciano with somebody who's no a significant drop in quality.
Aye. Yeah. It's amazing that he's like 27-year-old though, and he's only played about 27 games in his career.
Aye.
Absolute mad, that you get to that age. I know goalies can play till they're 40 and that if they keep themselves fit and healthy, but it's not a lot of games to have played. I know goalies didn't get a chance young either. Certainly not a club like Arsenal, but he should have been out on loan a lot.
You would have thought so, eh? But then
Maybe he's been injured. I don't know.
I suppose if you're playing reserve football, like you're still saving shots and stuff like that. Like, I think it's different for a goalkeeper than it is for an outfield player because.
But he's not got the crowd and the pressure.
Maybe the intensity and stuff is different, I suppose. But I was just trying to think, like, kind of if you're in the midfield and the game's at a slower pace, you notice the difference when you step up. But if you're just fucking standing in the same bit or the whole match, doing something every 5 or 6 minutes, kind of on a busy day, then you're going to get that in reserve team football as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a different environment.
Well, if you're a goalkeeper and you've been playing reserve team football, text into 80295 and just say Matt's talking shite. That'll do. And
they always talk about reserve goalies on.
Well, they never stop about it.
I think it's the best job in football because you never play.
Aye.
You get paid to sit on the bench every week watch the football. I think that's what Macy's been doing since he was 18.
Aye, dream job. It's like, oh, fuck it, I've got to play.
Reserve team goalie.
Andy said, Joe Newell performing like that on his first game back, very underrated out of possession. Actually, I've never really paid much attention to Joe Newell out of possession. I normally see what he does when he's got the ball, but he's very good at winning the ball back. He gets stuck in, and he's one of these players that uses his body to kind of get in between the opponent and the ball and sort of turn them at the same time.
Yeah. He was good. He was really good yesterday.
John Want said, I thought Macy was magnificent. Porto had a solid game at the back. Why was Scott taken off? I don't think he did too much, but once Gogic was put on for him, Hearts had less to think about. Nisbet needs to practice shooting with his left peg. Need Boyle on the ball more. Anything you want to pick out for that?
I think obviously there's a bit of a thing about Gogic now. I don't think Gogic got more shots away than Scott did.
Yeah.
In the game. I'm not saying he's a more attacking force or anything, but I think we're just criticising the boy now for. It was like folks saying it before he came on. It was like Hibs fans going, "Oh, he's got to get sent off," or what we're bringing him on for? Like it's like why we're here to we support this team, or we're fans, which is short for fanatics, which kind of suggests you'd back like everybody, like to the hilt. But we kind of pick on boys and.
Why do you think that is? Because Gogic, if you think like the season Gogic had last year, he was excellent for us, and folk were really kind of. You mind like the first few games, for like he's the missing piece. Do you know that's the bit that we've not had since Bartley left or Milligan went. Heckingbottom obviously never thought we needed a defensive midfielder, and that was one of the things that folk criticised him for, and I think probably fairly. Gogic came in, we were like, brilliant, and he couldn't really do any wrong. He scores a fucking cracker against, who was that, against St Johnson? Kilmarnock was that, and it's Kilmarnock would have volleyed it into the top corner. And then this season he's had a couple of bad games, and I don't know if it's because Jake Doyle-Hayes has come in and done a similar role but better. The Gogic is just like the forgotten man. Folks just seem like they're wanting to stick the boot in.
I know, but it's funny, like, because then you'll get, we've not got a big enough squad, and you go, well, now that Gogic isn't in the team, he's the squad. So let's
Yeah.
not fucking drill all the confidence out the boy by taking the piss out of Rain, one of your own.
Good shout. Beldam Lascar said, was going to ask why no one mentions that Macy is 6'7". That's a question
I've
we've all wanted to know. Wee Mogs was at Transmit all weekend. Obviously, he's not even a Hibs fan. He says this is a bit of an abstract one, but here we go. Why the fuck did I do this to myself? Jesus fucking Christ, man. So I think that was on day 3 of Transmit as well. So I think Mogs had a good weekend there. Hope you're feeling better now, Mogs. Mark Ryan said, why no Scott Allen? Hibs were begging for someone of his quality. They were there for the taking. I'm not sure they were there for the taking. I think you mentioned that Colin going to Tynecastle, the team clear at the top of the league. Morally,
They've
won the moral league. We're going there against the moral champions. You can be the moral champions even if you've stolen poppies, apparently, which bumped your own charity, which most folk would go, that's pretty fucking immoral doing that.
I think it was 2 charities they bumped.
Two charities.
They bumped the poppy one and the
John's ambulance.
Oh, it's more than 2 then, because they had their own
Big
breakfast club thing, Big Hearts Foundation.
Big Hearts Foundation and the Lady Hague. They bumped, but somehow that's trying to show the charity tin for Dunfermline. The fans did that too.
Yeah.
Out a pub, I'm sure, or like a kind of like a bowling club or something like that.
Was that to try and repay the one they took?
I don't know. It was probably just for Buckfast or something like that, whatever they drink. There's no puddles. Aye, they claim morally. How do you do that? Claim to be morally better than anybody? Like fucking nonsense. Neil Renton says, I thought Gogic did well despite most folk on Twitter slating him when he came on. I would agree with that. McGlashan says, hope the fuck we were never interested in Barry Mackay for his Barnet alone.
That's amazing. That was amazing, wasn't it?
There's a fake Britain Twitter account that just says, if has your club been sold a fake Jack Grealish? If so, get in touch with the fake Britain TV team and let us know. We'll say if you order.
He must know what he's doing, eh?
But
I know they must know. It's like pure Poundland stuff. It's just, I wonder. He must be sitting watching the Euros thinking, I wonder where he got that hairband. I'm going to go and get myself one. Absolutely unbelievable.
He had the look of an emperor penguin. Jeff Ashton says, has Halkett got the shortest leg to upper body ratio in the SPL?
I don't know. I tell you what, those suitors listen to me, right? Fine figure of a man. Suitors carrying a bit around the face, eh?
Aye.
He's like, he could do with losing a wee bit, like, if he wants to move on in the game and get up to the levels of Hanlon and Porteous and that.
Aye, well, that was all the talking points that folks sent in. We also asked on Twitter, right? So partway through the game, there's a note comes in. I can't remember who took onto the pitch. It might have been Barry Mackay. But anyway,
it was, and he ran back to the defenders with it.
Aye, you saw Suter having a wee read it and then passing on. So we asked Twitter what was on the list. So or on the note. So you have a think, Colin, what you think might have been on the note, and I'll come to you once I've gone through some of these. So Stuart Pendry said, just double checking it's salt and sauce. WTC 1981 says, where does Barry get his haircut? Jamie says, another money spinning replay if we play our cards right. Ray Forsyth said, we need those moral points to stay top boys. Neil Whelan, I really look like Mrs. Budge. Jamie Montgomery, Jack Grealish cut my hair. It was like Freddie Starr ate my hamster. Stephen the Cyberman, this is probably my favourite one, is drawn a little picture and it'll not work again. Right? Oh, fucking too bright. Basically, you've got a whole load of matchstick men up one end of the pitch. There's a plane flying, no banner behind it, but just a plane. And then goalkeeper at the other end of the pitch with a big arrow going like this, with hoof on it, as if Robbie's drawn the tactics.
See that's the thing I was going to say actually. That really got under their skin, the hoofball stuff. Right?
Oh, aye.
They never played much hoofball yesterday, right? I'll say that. But what their fans now do is when there was one point, I think Port just put a block in, he stuck his leg in, and it knocked it 40 yards.
Aye, they shouted.
Oof. And there was like a couple of balls, nice passes, like long passes, like deliberate passes, not just launching it. Like they obviously didn't even understand what hoof ball is.
Aye.
There's a couple of nice passes sort of diagonals out to the touchline and that, and they're shouting hoof. And it's got so fucking far under their skin that they do it now. And I think it's funny. It's just funny. You think you're shouting, you don't even care why you're doing it because it's we deliberately done that. We're not just launching it.
Also suggested for the note, Lee Rose says Nielsen said, ask Martin Boyle if he can have his shirt at full time. Liam says, just go 2-0 up and the job is done. Topher Cornet said, just didn't get beat, boys, sick in natural order. Billy Hibby said, 2 pints of milk and a half loaf. Fattest prickest, does my hair look greasy with this cardigan? Ross has put, right lads, keep it quiet about my return to EastEnders. And it said Daniela Westbrook.
I can see
that. Stuart McKenzie says, you're going to need to hoof it higher than that. That young laddie Porto is winning everything. Bully on the shopping list team again, milk, bread and eggs. Neil Littlewood said, dear Slim, I wrote you but still ain't calling. I left myself my pager and my home phone at the bottom. K-Bet and Sports said, thank God that fucking Dodge guy is out. Edinburgh FM, dear John, I know you ain't the best suitor brother, but I'll see you in the changing room. Love your secret pal, Robbie. P.S. is my hero K. Andrew McBee, we've no style, no bottle products. We need to get our haircut, Barry. Paul Mackay, Morley, you're winning this. Keep it going. LG and Cow says, maybe score a goal. Could help, to be honest, lads. Soze 47062, 51515151. SJDS07, keep it at 0-0 because I want to say to the press they celebrated with their fans at the end like it was a win. Parmaham said, score a goal for fuck's sake or they'll have a banner flying over the stump with my name on it. John says, hey lads, I've just got us tickets to go to the Longbangers live gig at Easter Road. Can't wait to go to Edinburgh's big team stadium. Lee Rose has done another one like a handwritten note. Says, do you like me? There's a box for yes, no, and maybe. We love hearts drawn on it. Joss has said, was a calling card. And it's a Joker. There you go, which again,
I can have see it, aye.
semblance Nielsen. KSW said, is their keeper 6'7"? Matt says, fancy Galatasaray after the game. Stuart Wilson, Colin Nish, football genius. Gary Cunningham, anyone know the password for the Wi-Fi? Jimmy Davis, they ordered me off Amazon with the air fryer for $4.99. And Vince Robinson, what's the password for Levine's iPad? Well, there's another lookalike here for Nielsen. You see that sort of?
I see the air. I just see the air.
I'm needing away sharpish boys. Me and other guys from Wang Chung have been offered a last minute gig at Transmit. Can't refuse a money spinner like that. See you on Tuesday. Gibson says, it said, who's on the loan deal? The club's lost count. Andy Jeffrey, Benny, can you jump out of Newell's pocket? The Hibs are here so long and thanks for all the fish, which I think is for the boy that did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Darren Keenan's done a wee picture of a dog that says, I have no idea what I'm doing. Albert Kidd, he's actually going to the talking points rather than the notes. Paul Hanlon, the most underrated player to play for Hibs in the last 30 years, probably. Colin Terrace, Barry's coming on soon, lads. Didn't laugh at his hair. Ian Hamilton has put, I'm away to pump your wife. Sir Tommy Farmer, we were 2-0 up and we fucked it up. Steve McGilfrey, milk, cheese, bread, chicken, slices, and Timothy. That's the name of the guy that makes shampoo in Ireland. Timothy.
Timothy, yeah.
And if you go to buy it in London, can how much it costs? £10. Brutal. Cater's Corner says, tell Peter Haring we're playing football. Haring or Herring? Is it Haring?
I don't know. I think they call him Haring, but it's only one R in the name. Which I don't know. Let's go Haring.
John McHugh says, don't worry if it finishes like this, we're still second in the league. David Hardy said JDH isn't playing. GOHFC says, see that guy, Boyle, stop trying to catch him, it's not going to happen. And Oscar Ramage for the last one says, at the end of the game, get off quick so we don't have to applaud our fans and make it look like we're celebrating a draw. What do you think was on the note, Colin?
Well, nothing funny. More the fact that he gave it to Barry Mackay and made him run down to the centre half. It'd be something along the lines of, "Have you seen this cunt's hairband?" Because that must be the topic of conversation this morning at training. They must be ripping the piss out of him for that.
You would hope so. You would hope so. But you think somebody would have told him beforehand, Listen, you're going to get the piss taken right out you. Didn't do it.
Well, you would think that, but then nobody's telling Nielsen to go and get his chopped either. I mean,
that's true.
and his is like he's going to the same length and could wear the hairband as well, but he's got big bald patches now because he's a middle-aged man.
Aye.
So he needs to take it off. His next haircut's a skinhead because it's one of them. It's like mind Andre Agassi had the long hair in that when he won Wimbledon in the 90s, and the year later he came back with a skinhead because
somebody had a word with him.
Grow it while he could, sort of thing. Came with the big Resido and the baldy bit. Like, just take it off, mate. So.
Like Mark Haley, was that one of the things that's come up as like the favourite shout? Was somebody shouting at Mark Haley, "You big hairy baldy bastard"?
That's right, you big long haired baldy bastard.
I like to think so. See if I was a manager and I was spitting notes onto the team, I would write. So I'd go to the winger or the sub who was going on and say, tell them, right, give them that bit of paper, just say, look at this, right? And when they run over and open up, I would just say this. But I would go, tell them to look at that.
I did think it was funny though, because he gave it to Mackay and Mackay never even opened it. Like it was a secret.
Oh, maybe we get in trouble.
A birthday card or something. And I thought, guaranteed if I got handed that note, I'd be thinking another wee look at it myself. But he got to them, and then they got it, they were a bit like pointing three fingers and that as if to say, three at the back or whatever it was. And you think it's a bit weird, like they've got to. It's been done before. Was it Aberdeen that used to do it? But Shinnie was running about with a bit of paper.
Levine used to do it when Cathro was there.
Well, that's right.
Aberdeen might do rip up because they start ripping up so that the opposition can't have a look.
Can he work it out?
I can't mind what player done that. Somebody did it. It picked up.
Shinnie, I think. Oh, picked it up.
Aye.
Somebody in England done it.
Aye. And after they kind of spoiled it. After that, they started ripping them up. I don't know if you got to Suitors opened it and just say, John, I like what you've done with your hair today. You look good in those shorts. Tell Craig I like his beard.
I think it's just a bit weird that you can't just pass on an instruction. It's like, can you just say to Mackay, tell Craig it's fucking three at the back?
Aye, just shout to him.
They shout everything else. Kick
Aye.
it. He did it. All that stuff.
I wonder if he said that. He did it.
Ain't it? It must be too difficult. Aye, that's a couple of letters. Kick it hard. He did it. No. Put in the corner for the last 30 seconds. All that shite. No.
Aye. Right. St Mirren on Saturday. How do you see that going?
Well, I'd like to think we'll win. I don't think they've had a very good start to the season. They've not won a lot of games. I don't think they're a bad side though. Bounty, the boy McGrath's bound to score though.
Aye, besides a lot of that.
Aye.
But that's all right because Jay Wright and Scott Allen will score for us using that rule.
Using that rule.
2-1 at Hibs.
2-1. But they only got a game though, and we'll be outraged that he's not getting on.
Aye, we better tell Jack just to do that. I think we're making our debut on Hibs TV. I think that's the plan for the game on Saturday. We'll have Longbangers representation on it. That'll be interesting.
So for all the overseas viewers will get to listen to your dulcet tones at half time.
Aye. And those
because it's only overseas folk they'll be watching it.
Or season ticket holders that could make it.
Well, can St Mirren fans as well, or do they get their own thing?
They can do it on pay-per-view, but they'll not go on Hibs TV. They'll have their own, I would think. They might tune in anyway.
Imagine if that's that. We get more, because we've already got St Mirren fan listeners, haven't we?
Aye, I think so.
Aye. Well, obviously, because...
Well, actually, there's one since stuff in there. Aye. So I think St Mirren are a funny team, eh? Like they always think they're decent, but they never seem to get the results to go with. They always seem to struggle. So maybe I think they're better than they are.
Well, they were unfortunate not to make top six last season, and I don't know how their squad's been like out and in. But I think they were fancying finishing top six this season at the start of the season. It was only fucking 5 games ago. So maybe hopefully they're still on They're not on the up yet. Not on
Yeah.
the upturn yet.
I quite like Goodwin as a manager. I think he tries to get them playing decent football, and he's definitely a better manager, an easier manager to like than he was as a player.
Aye. I don't know. I don't know. It depends, I suppose, what team we've got as well. I don't know who's not available. If Doyle-Hayes is back, was it COVID he was out with? Do we know?
I think somebody said he was isolated. I'm not sure if that was Jack Ross said he was isolated, or if it was just the rumour. But I think it was for last Tuesday. So you would think he would be back, assuming he wasn't ill with it.
It'll be 10 days.
Aye.
It'll be like, if he's only back at training on Thursday or Friday, then it's maybe not enough time to get in the team. But, I still, we should beat them, like, but we say, how often have we said that before, and especially at a home game against a team when you're expecting it. But I'm hoping the mentality's. Well, Robbie was obviously commenting on our mentality, so hopefully it's true what he's saying, and our mentality is different to theirs, and we can beat
Win our
teams at
home
home.
games. Aye, teams below us.
What do you think? What do you think about the game? You got a good view sitting in the south stand with.
Aye.
Is it Dougie Donnelly or whoever it is? Or maybe Gordon Smart.
I'm not sure who will in it. I think we'll win. I go back to the point I was making about consistency, and that 43 games or whatever in the top four. I think so our home form was not what it should have been for a period last season, but by the end of the season, I thought we'd got on top of it. This season, we've started well on our home games. I think if we get an early goal, we probably could go on and score quite a few. I fancy Scott to get a goal because he's a few matches under his belt now. I think he'll be one of these ones that if he gets a goal, he'll probably score a couple. So I think we've got better players than St Mirren have. We definitely spend.
We've got their best players.
Aye, we definitely spend more than them, so we should have. So I think Hibs will win. I think it'll probably got a comfortable win in the end. 3-0.
3. Come on, that's confident.
Aye.
I'm thinking more a 2-1 or something like that.
Aye. I can't remember the last time St Mirren trouble is. Mind the boys scored for halfway.
Aye, Christmas. I'm sure it was Christmas time, or it was a midweek night anyway.
Aye, it was
cold.
I can't remember if they won that game or if it finished in a draw.
I think it was a 1-1, but
1 each.
I could be wrong. But I can't ever really remember hammering them very often. Once I remember it was like Samama and that. It was a hammering, and they were brilliant that day. That's years ago when you're talking about Zamama, and that's supposed to maybe not been in the league the whole time. We've been at the league a bit. I can't remember hammering them very often at home. We've had probably bigger results away from home against them.
You're probably right. I can't think of any big wins against them either. Well, we're due one then. So
yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
4-0.
I'm only talking about fucking 9-0.
9-0. Okay. Okay, right. Well, that's pretty much all we've got time for. We're back. It's this Monday. So we're back on Thursday with short bangers to get questions in for that. We have still got a handful of tickets. They've sold really quickly. So thank you to everybody who's bought them for the live show on the 15th of October. I've had a few messages asking what's involved. So some of it we want to kind of keep a bit of a surprise, but we're trying to line up a special guest. We're going to have some live music. We're going to set the event up so it's like sort of tables so people can socialise and have a drink through with each other, with us, through the course of the evening. We'll obviously be kind of recording an episode, but doing a sort of live version of Short Bangers and amongst some other things that we've got planned. So it's 7:30 on Friday the 15th of October. I think the closes at 11. Last orders at the bar is 10:30. So good few hours of drinking. Should be a good laugh. And we have, like I say, like a handful of tickets left. You can go on our Twitter and you'll see the link. If you have any problems, just send us a DM on Twitter and we'll sort you out with tickets. Get your questions in for Short Bangers, and we will also have Quick Bang on Saturday after the St Mirren game, if we can round up enough bodies to come on and dip. Thanks for listening, Colin. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
County line, I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.